Hello, welcome to the second mass talk. I haven't even posted the first one yet, but I just thought that I'd start the series. Hoping that you guys like it. I don't know. So today I'm going to do the green mastic. I've had a video where I tested this out to see if it kind of draws out the blackheads words. It didn't really work for me. I don't know if it's worked for anybody else. Let me know if it has, I guess. But oh, it's stuck. I don't know why it's stuck. Why is it stuck? Oh, this might be dry. I haven't used this in a long time. Let's see if it works, I guess. Oh, yeah, it feels like it's... Is it gonna work? Alright, we'll get to story time. So last time I mentioned about how I have a tumor, or had a tumor, in my ear, my inner ear, when I was younger. So I thought maybe I'd tell you the story about this. So, everything was fine and dandy when I was born. No complaints. But I did get a lot of ear infections. I got swimmer's ear like twice a year. It was ridiculous. So they tried to put tubes in. Actually, let me rewind. I was 5. I started school, and they're like, there's something a little strange about Denise. There's something a little off. When we say her name, she doesn't always seem to respond. I think maybe there is something wrong with her hearing. So they got some tests done, and come to find out, that was true. There was something wrong with my hearing, and I wasn't just ignoring people. But they weren't sure why. They're just like, she has a hearing loss. There's no immediate thing that's saying, this is why you can't hear. They decided, even though there was no evidence that there's really anything wrong that would indicate I needed tubes in my ear, they were still like, hey, let's put tubes in her ear. It might help. So they did that, and it didn't help, and my ears rejected the tubes, and they had to go in and take them out. So, I'm young, I'm in kindergarten, I'm just moving through the grades. My hearing is getting progressively worse over this time. Little by little. It's not like significantly worse, and it's only in my left ear, but it's getting worse and worse, and eventually I do get a hearing aid, and I wear a hearing aid throughout elementary school. In 5th grade, actually, my teacher got this like little FM radio that could signal to my hearing aid. But mind you, I hated my hearing aid because everything was so loud. And yes, I know I could adjust it, but it was just weird going from like not being able to hear as much to being able to hear everything and all the screaming kids. I got so many headaches and migraines. I remember one time getting a migraine so bad that I had to be taken to the hospital in an ambulance. So, not great. But now we're 5 years later, and we still don't know what's wrong with me. Why can I not hear? I don't know which doctor finally was like, hey, maybe we should scan her head. See if there's anything up in there. I don't know why it took this long. But that is when they discovered, oh my, there's a tumor in there. Now this tumor is called the cholesteatoma, and what it had done was it actually took over the space of where my vibrating bones are. So it actually kind of acted like those vibrating bones. So once they figured out that I had this tumor, they're like, well, we gotta do surgery and we have to take it out. Well, we did that, and I lost more hearing because of it being in that space. So I was like legally deaf in this ear now. And I'm not wearing a hearing aid at this point. Once I got into middle school, I was like, Mom, do I have to wear a hearing aid? I don't really want to wear a hearing aid. And she was like, if you get good grades, fine, whatever. This is something that did affect me, though, in my education, because I went from being able to hear things to not being able to hear things, and I had a really hard time comprehending the sounds of words. So there's certain words that I can't really say, or certain words that I didn't know that I said wrong for the longest time, and I still say things wrong, like backpack. It's not a backpack. It's a backpack or a book bag, but I say backpack. I don't know. Also, one of the weirdest ones, and something me and my best friend still make fun of to this day, is that instead of saying Pop-Tart, I would say Part-Tart. And I had the hardest time learning how to say Pop-Tart. Literally, I was on a ferry during this camp with some friends that I had made at camp, and they were trying to teach me how to say Pop-Tart, and they were like, pop, pop, tart, tart, Pop-Tart, part-tart. Sorry, my camera died, we had to change positions. But, so anyways, it just took me a long time to finally figure out. Obviously, I've figured it out now, and I can say it. We're good. So, we're getting through this. I had a surgery. We took out all the tumor. I don't know what it was, if we just didn't get it all out, if it came back for other reasons, but it came back. Like, every year, I had to have a surgery until I think I was 16. So, I'm having a surgery in, like, 6th grade. It might have skipped years. It might have been, like, 6th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, but I think it might have also been 7th. I don't know. I had a lot of surgeries. We usually try to plan them in the summer, so I wasn't missing school. I love school. Didn't want to miss it. So, we had that. And then when I was 16, I didn't have any more tumors at that time. It was great. It was a great time. 16 to, what was it, 24? I wasn't aware of any tumors. But I was still, like, getting ear infections, and mind you, I'm still going to the ear doctor. At that point, I think I was supposed to be going often, but maybe every 6 months or a year or something. My mom was terrible about bringing me to appointments when I got older. More stories. Maybe more mass times we'll talk about these. So, at that point, we were like, alright, I've been with my pediatric one for a long time. I should go see this new doctor. So I went to go see my new ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, who was very nice. I like him a lot. But when I saw him, he was like, it is all messed up in there. All messed up. You don't have any more tumors, because we did a CT scan. Literally was no tumors. But we should go in there and reconstruct. And we set a surgery date, and then I happened to get bumped. Somebody needed it more urgently. Somebody had cancer. They needed to go in and do it, which was fine, but I just never got the opportunity to reschedule. And I really didn't want the surgery. I was kind of nervous about it. Having so many surgeries in my life, I was like, I don't want another one. So I actually didn't even have like another appointment scheduled with him because I was supposed to have surgery and then do a follow-up. So what ended up happening was that one day I was at work and I started to bleed from my ear. And I went to my boss and I was like, I can't stay any longer. I have to go to the hospital. I'm bleeding from my ear. And, I got ear problems, so I need to figure out what's going on here. And he was like, alright, you do that. You figure that out, because that's scary. So I went to the hospital, but anytime I've ever gone anywhere about my ears, they're just like, I don't know what's going on in there, because the way that it was set up, you really couldn't see much in there, and it was just so narrow, and it looked strange. Anytime anybody ever looked at my ears, they were like, and I'd be like, I have an ear doctor, and they'd be like, oh, okay, alright, I'll note that. So I went to the hospital. They're like, I don't know what's going on in there, but I think you have an ear infection. I tried to get in with my doctor pretty quickly. They wouldn't give me antibiotics because whatever, they have to see me first, fine. But I ended up having some antibiotics, and I took them, just drops in my ear. And I took that to try to clear it up and whatever. When I got in to see him, he was like, oh yeah, that's bad. Oh yeah, we gotta do something about that. So he gave me more drops, and I think it was a week, 2 later, went back to see him and had done the drops. I cleared it all up. He was like, looks great. But then he looks again and he goes, you got a tumor in there. You got something in there. And it's pretty big. I'm like, oh, yeah, if you can see it with how stupid this looks, then yeah, I guess I do. Also, I skipped a part where I did have a prosthetic in my ear for a little bit. From the surgery when I was 16, my doctor had put a prosthetic in there. When I went back at this point and the tumor was there, my doctor literally pulled the prosthetic out of my ear. Like, the tumor, like, pushed it out of my ear canal and everything. It was... I still have it, actually. It's in my bathroom. I don't know why I kept it. I was like, it was in me. So I do have it. That's a thing. My ear, whatever. Anyways, we had to schedule, like, almost like an emergency surgery because, like, your tumor's in there and it's growing. It's growing fast because that wasn't there last year. So we had surgery. He goes in and he takes what he called a walnut-sized tumor out of my inner ear. How does that even fit in there? Can you imagine having a walnut-sized tumor in your head? That's crazy. Crazy. And mind you, I've had nightmare surgeries at points. My first surgery ever, I immediately woke up and threw up. And I profusely threw up for 12 I don't want to say 12 hours. I threw up for hours, though. Literal hours. I'm sitting there for, like, little things to catch my throw up, and I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I want juice. They're like, you keep throwing up. I'm like, I want juice. And they almost didn't let me go home because I was throwing up so much. So we learned from that. Every surgery after that, I had, like, anti-nausea stuff. Now, going into the surgery, I told them I need to have anti-nausea stuff because I will throw up when I wake up from surgery. These motherfuckers were like, you're fine, it's fine, nothing's gonna happen, you're fine. Yeah, I immediately threw up. They were switching me over from the surgery table to a gurney, and I woke up and threw up on myself. I was pretty mad because I didn't even know that they didn't give me the anti-nausea stuff. I was so mad. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we do that. He gets the tumor out, and he's like, all right, we got to go back in there and, like, reconstruction things. So I forget, it's all happened in the same year. It was like July when I had that initial surgery, and then I had another surgery a few months later, a month later, a couple weeks later. I don't even remember how long later. I had another surgery where he can reconstruct everything. And then after that, after that surgery, you know what happened? I got an infection where my stitches are, which are right behind my ear right here. I got an infection and it blew up and then started draining pus. It was so gross. One of the grossest things. And my follow-up had been canceled because my poor doctor lost a family member. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I had to message the people and I had to be like, I know that my doctor's out right now, but I don't know what to do. My ear blew up, and then it popped, and there's stuff coming out of it, and it's gross. And so they got me in, like, I don't know, like the next day or something, I don't know. And then on top of that, after that, like, he, like, looks at it, cleans it all out, makes sure it's all good. You know what he does after that? He goes, all right, well, I need to put more stitches on there because the stitches popped or whatever. And I'm like right now? Like in this room. You're gonna put stitches. And he's like, and honestly, if it's like less than 2, I don't typically use any like numbing stuff because that hurts more than the stitches. Bro gave me like 4 stitches. I don't know what he was talking about. It fucking hurt. So anyways, I go through all that, and then my ear, it went and decided to connect from one side to the other. Why did I do that? I have no idea. But that's what I did. Because you know what? We did some grafting. When we did the reconstruction, there was some skin graft and stuff in there. So he like did all this stuff, and then I don't know that the skin was just like attract to each other. So that happened, and I had to have another surgery. Now this last surgery that I had, I actually was awake for. He wanted me to be awake for the surgery before that too, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And he convinced me for this last piece. He's like, it's really easy. We just gotta like snip, cauterize. And I was like, fine. But you know what? Best surgery I ever had. You might be scared of doing surgeries awake, and I get it, but they make you loopy, and you stare at the screen, which I couldn't see anything because I had to let go of my glasses. Which kind of sucked because I'm like staring at the screen to see what happened. I'm like, whoa, as they're playing Taylor Swift for me. I'm like, whoa. And they're like, you doing good? And I'm like, yeah. And that was an easy recovery. Like, I got up, they put me in like the little area to recover. My husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he came and made sure I was good. And then we got to go eat some food. And it was nice. So, see, what we learned from all of this experience is stop fucking getting your ear wet, and maybe you won't have any more problems. Because it's definitely me getting my ear wet. Every time I get my ear wet, I get ear infections, and then my tumor comes back. So, don't get your ear wet. Don't get ear infections. Lesson learned. I haven't. And I've been tumor and ear infection free for, when was that? What year was that? 2020? It was right before the pandemic, 2019. So like 5 years. It's coming up right now. It's like 5 years since that first surgery. So yeah, pretty good. That's what I wanted to talk about today. So I guess we'll wipe this off. See how I did in my face. I don't see any blackheads coming out. But yeah. So if you're wondering, I still can't hear out of the ear. I'm actually having a hearing test next year. We were supposed to have it this year. For some reason, it didn't get scheduled. So we're having one next year to just see what the hearing is, because I haven't had a hearing test since before, I believe, the surgery. So we actually don't really know where my hearing's at. People in my life say that they would never know that I can't hear, because oftentimes I hear better than other people do. And in my line of work, being a therapist and all that, I have to listen to people all day long. And I can actually do that. It's amazing. Although, some of my clients have noticed that I like tilt my head to hear better. And I was mentioning my tumor one time to one of my clients, and they were like, is that why you tilt your head? Because you can't hear out of your ear? And I'm like, yeah, that's why. So, I mean, it did affect my life, but it doesn't, like, significantly affect my life anymore. So that's nice talk number 2. Catch you for a third one? Let me know if you like these. Like, comment, subscribe. Good second channel stuff. Alright, I'll catch you guys later.